Hey, welcome back, everyone, to another segment of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to be right back with this week's special tech guests. But first, we want to give a shout out to our partners, the Florida Coaches Coalition, We Coach, Vital Signs Wall of Fame, and the Global Community of Women in High School Sports. You've heard me say many times, these are four great organizations. You need to add them to your network. And now, don't hit that fast forward button. Stay with us for the next 3 minutes as we give our sponsors their shout out. These are all great organizations that I used as an athletic director or as a coach. You should be using them too. Here we go. We want to say thanks to Homecampus for their support of the podcast. Homecampus is the exclusive high school and state association information management platform for the podcast. It's also your one stop for scheduling, student athlete eligibility, and a whole lot more. As an AD, I used Homecampus every single day, and so should you. To get started, just go to homecampus.com. That's homecampus.com. We also want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and schedule a live web demo to see their tables and their boards in action. Their products not only generate income for your school, but also create the ultimate game day experience for your student athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com for more information. We want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. If you're thinking about digital ticketing, Hometown offers more support, more security, more customization. Hometown is here to make the best solution for you. Go to hometownticketing.com to get started. We also want to say thank you to Wall of Fame by Vital Signs. You know, they're on a mission to bring your school's legacy to life. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check out their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's a great way to showcase your school record boards for all your teams, your school Hall of Fame, or to just tell more compelling stories. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com to get started. We also want to say thanks to Gipper. Go to gipper.com. They're going to show you how to create world-class marketing content for your school social media channel in seconds, and you don't need any special device. Celebrate your athletes, promote your program and your teams. Go to gipper.com to get started. We also want to say thanks to Snap Mobile. Go to snapraise.com. That's snapraise.com. Check out their entire suite of platforms designed to help you do your job better. If you're looking for a fundraising program, stop. SnapRaise is the best. But there's also Snap Store, Snap Connect, Snap Manage, and a whole lot more. You'll find all of them at snapraise.com. We want to thank Huddle for their support. Go to huddle.com and change the way you see the game. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided that allowed them to coach our athletes at the highest level. At Huddle, we believe in sports, and teams believe in Huddle. Join the 6 million users. Turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to say thank you to District 1. Go to District 1, that's WON.com, and you're going to feel like you've won when you see their custom uniforms, their on-time delivery, 20 business days or less, and their one-at-a-time replacement program. You're never going to have to order an entire set of uniforms, again, when you just need one or two replacements. Go to district1.com, click on the Team Gear button, you'll get a free quote. That's district1.com. And we want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that allows you to take the pulse of your parents and your student athletes. Athletic directors already hear back from the complainers, the 2% that want to gripe about everything. Athletic Surveys will connect you to the 2%, but they'll also connect you to the 98% that love and support your program. And that's a tremendously valuable tool to have when you're talking to a frustrated parent or your principal or your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com to get started. Athleticsurveys.com. Take the pulse of your program and take it from good to great. Hey, welcome back, everyone, to another segment of Tech Tuesday on the Educational AD Podcast. Regular listeners know that we periodically have our great sponsors come on to talk a little bit about their product. And today is one of those. We're meeting with truly some old friends. We've got Wes Carty and Lindsay Warkentin from Homecampus. Now, you've heard me say many times before that we only have sponsors of products that I use. And as an athletic director in Florida, I used Homecampus every single day. And over the years as an AD, I got to know Lindsay and Wes quite well. And, as individuals, they're great. The company's great. But we're excited to have them on the program today to share a little bit about what Homecampus can do for you as an athletic director. So, Wes and Lindsay, welcome to Tech Tuesday.
Thanks for having us.
Okay. Well, again, I know that you are the official management platform for a couple of different states across the country, obviously in Florida. Tell our listeners, what is Homecampus? What does it do? Why should they care? And then we're going to take a deeper dive into some of the really cool features. So who's going to go first?
Sure. I guess I'll start us off. Homecampus is a little different than some of the other typical providers that we have for technology. We originated off with the associations. So we started in California, and then we kind of moved to California and also in New Jersey. We're the official provider, as you said, in Florida and in California. So two of the three biggest states. What we do is we started with associations, as I mentioned, and we built them a custom platform to manage everything that they need with all of their communications with all of their member schools. Everything from eligibility, their schedules, transfers, misconducts or ejections, their entire online directory, basically do everything that we could to take them out of the paper era into the digital era. And then along with that, what we did was we built tools that the schools need to manage their campus at the same time. So whether that be managing their schedules or managing, their online registrations, dealing with emergency cards, all of those different features, injury tracking, et cetera, and kind of put those all into one platform. Because oftentimes what will happen is the association will ask them to do, a handful of things, fill out specific forms, and they've already done that on a different platform before. And so our whole kind of idea is to make it so that all of the work that you do as athletic director, we don't want you to have to redo that work to be part of the association when you're filling out forms for them, whether it be, a transfer form or a student eligibility form or, an academic award form, et cetera. And so we go really deep and nitty gritty with the association, and everything that they need from their schools, our platform provides. And then lastly, we do have parents that access the platform as well to register their students, which is a pretty big part of what we've been doing since 2014.
Yeah, that last part, the parent registration, at least for our school, I know not every school, took advantage of this, but we certainly did at my school. And it was just fantastic. As an AD, I loved it. Our parents loved it. It was so easy to do. And if a parent was struggling for some reason, I would just say, send me your stuff and I'll upload it. I would joke, it's so easy. Even Jake can do it. A little bit of history too for our listeners. Homecampus came to our state. They were a number of platforms that our state association was considering with input from ADs to really, there's no other way to say it, clean up a mess that existed from a previous platform. And over the years how many years have you been in Florida
now? 2017 was our first year.
And over the years, the hometown team, and again, you're talking to the team right now. There's a few others, but Wes and Lindsay, they're on the front lines. They were very intentional. There's that word again about how can we make it better? What are things that you need? How can we, improve on the platform? So it's been continually evolving and growing, and almost enough to make me want to come back and be an AD again. But where do you want to go first? Again, as an AD, we have to put our schedules online. Our state association has to know who we're playing, entering scores. Any platform is going to do that. What are some of the things that you really think set Homecampus apart? And I definitely want to talk about the parent aspect at some point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that the thing that really sets us apart is the integration. The integration that we have with the association software. I think that's really big. And we certainly integrate with other partners as well. We integrate with Max Preps, we integrate with Scorebook Live. We're starting integration with Arbiter also. That'll be coming out this fall. And we really try to do the best that we possibly can to make all of those things come together in the least amount of steps possible. We're super focused on the user's experience, like hyper aware of it. And I think that's really what separates us quite a bit. And also, as you mentioned, we are a small team. We don't have a ton of people in our company, but there's not one person that you can't talk to that can help you. We just got out of our team meeting, and there's only about 10 of us domestically, and we have more overseas. But all of our support people and everyone that you meet at conferences really knows everything about the software. And that's probably the thing that we're most proud about is the team that we've built. Yeah. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can certainly second that. Looking back, I might have been, trying to upload a physical for a kid, or a parent was, and I would get a text, hey, it's not working. And I would text, you or Kenny or somebody, and usually in an hour or less, I'd get an email or a text or something, we got it, problem's been taken care of. So again, just great to work with. Again, you're the official platform for a couple of states. If an athletic director is listening to this now in a state where Homecampus is not the official provider, can they use the platform? And if so, how do they do that?
Yeah, they certainly can. We didn't used to have the ability for them to be able to do that. They used to have to be ingrained into our product with the state association that they're associated with. But now we did rebuild our system kind of from the ground up last year to allow for any school, regardless of what state that you're in, to use our products. Hopefully we get enough of those people in those states to kind of make it so the entire states use it, because that's where you really get the biggest benefit, is when an entire state kind of uses the platform. So that way everything's kind of tightly integrated with each other.
Okay. Lindsay, let's go ahead and hear from you. A couple of features that we used, again, pretty much every day. The student athlete clearance program, where either the athletic director or even the parents could literally upload those documents, the physical forms, the state, whatever the state referred to them as, permission slips, etc., emergency release contacts, all that stuff. The parent could actually upload it, as well as for coaches. Most states require their coaches to be certified and tracking all of those certificates. Can you talk a little bit about how that works? And I know you do a lot of the training every year at our state conference. Maybe talk about, how easy it is for ADs to learn how to do all this stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So the feature that Jake is referring to is our athletic clearance feature, as well as our coaches clearance feature. And essentially we're taking that, 20-page pre-participation packet that we all used to have, and we're turning it into online forms. So instead of sending this packet home with kids and hoping it makes it to the parent can just access this information online. They create an account, fill out all the necessary information that ADs are asking for, and it goes straight to the AD's account. So there's essentially no paper. There is an option to get a hard signature if your school, district, county requires that, but essentially you could go completely paperless and all that information is coming to you as soon as the athlete and the athlete's family completes that information online. The great thing about using that feature in Florida and California is that both of these states are requiring some of that student eligibility information on the association side. And because it's all one platform, the student and the parent are filling that information out. It's going to the AD at the school level, and then it can also go to the association level for, playoff information, or in Florida, student eligibility is huge. And so all of those data points need to be submitted by ADs. And this just cuts down on 75% of that data entry. You're getting that from the student and the parent right off the bat instead of collecting that elsewhere. And then we have the coaches clearance feature, which is coaches registering for their sports, multi-sport or coaches, all that, and they are submitting their certifications. So if you submit your first aid or your CPR, our system adds a expiration date based on that certification, 1 year, 3 year, no expiration. And then the ADs as well as district personnel are notified of these expiration dates so that you don't have coaches expiring mid-season. Everything is up to date, and there's several notifications that go out from the system before any expirations can happen.
Right. And you bring up a great point. You're going to enter that data anywhere, in an old school spreadsheet or whatever. But if you're still going with paper, I remember my desk, my first couple years at Maclay before we, were on the program, I had 2 enormous file cabinets that were full of manila folders with physicals and permission forms and everything stapled to it. And the other thing that you mentioned, the expiration dates, not just for the coach's CPR, but for a student's physical. You get those notifications well in advance, so you can let a parent know, and the parent gets it too. Just a reminder, Billy's physical is going to expire in 6 weeks. Please, schedule something for him. And it just such a time saver for ADs as well as parents. Okay.
Yeah. We actually
go ahead.
just in our team meeting, we had one of our team members report that they had heard from an AD about using our mobile app with the emergency card and emergency contacts in an emergency situation on the field. And although you don't want that to happen ever, it's great for everyone involved to have that mobile app from Athletic Clearance. You have the kids' emergency contacts. You just click the phone number, it calls the parent or the guardian. And then you also have all the medical conditions right there on the app to share with EMS. So we've had reports of successful use of the mobile app in emergency situations. So
now, how long has that been available? I remember, all of our coaches at Maclay, they knew if something like that happened, or even if a kid got injured, I told them to call or text me, so I knew what was going on. But there were a couple of times that I went into my phone. I don't think it was a mobile app. I think it was the actual platform, and got that information out, and I was able to send it to the coach. So is that a new feature, or has that always been there and I was just a dope?
I think it's been since you have retired as an AD, maybe 2.5 years.
Probably.
But we still find ADs that are surprised when we talk about the app that don't have it downloaded. But it's one of the best parts of the Athletic Clearance feature.
I remember we had someone come to a booth at our conference and said they gave us a suggestion to create a mobile app for that exact situation. And then,
you showed him.
One of our team members was like, "Oh yeah, it's right here." And he was like, "Oh wow, that was fast."
That's how fast Homecampus is, instant response to those requests. It's great to hear about all those great things, the mobile app, but you also mentioned you've got some new features that are going to be coming out soon. Can you share that with our listeners?
Yeah, sure. In California, we'll be going live very soon with the deeper integration that we have with Arbiter. California uses Arbiter as well as a lot of the country for official assigning. And so what this will do is you can both take events that have already been put on Arbiter, whether it be from an assigner or somebody at your school or yourself, and copy that data over. But what it also does, which is probably more exciting, is it will recognize the game that's on our system and also on their system, and it'll bring over all of the officials' information. So it'll have a nice little whistle icon next to the game, and letting you know that officials have been assigned and they've also been accepted. And so that way, because that's one request that we've had for quite a bit of years, is that to be able to do that kind of integration. Obviously, being able to integrate with as many people as possible would be, many companies as possible would be great, but we really have to pick and choose the companies wisely and make sure that we kind of have aligned values, and it's really complementary. And so we're excited about that. I think that that's going to be a really big feature. One of our employees, who's a former athletic director, is super excited about it. And we always go to him for a lot of our ideas to say, like, hey, do you think this would work? And he's like, yes, that's awesome. Definitely do that. And so that's something we're very excited about.
Now, you mentioned that's going to be coming soon to California. As an official still in Florida, any plans to unveil that in Florida soon?
Yeah, certainly. I think that that's certainly coming next. We generally will. It kind of depends on where we do new features first. Sometimes we do new feature in Florida and then we bring it over to California or a different platform. But this one, we had more of a request in California. And so we kind of pushed that one there. And the data structure is a little bit different. I don't want to get too nerdy, but it shouldn't be too much more effort at all to bring that to Florida as well.
We'll test it out on California first.
Yeah, exactly.
Get all the kinks out and then bring the version 2 proof version to Florida. Well, we've been talking about the platform, and again, it's always great to see you guys at the state conferences and national, of course. If one of our listeners wanted to find out more about Homecampus, how do they do that? Where do they go?
I would think that the best email would be support@homecampus.com. That email goes to every single person on our team, so we all can see it, view it, answer it. You're going to get the best support that way. Or our website, homecampus.com, you can go there as well.
Yeah, the website, very user friendly. As I like to say, it's so simple, even Jake can use it. And I want to stress to our listeners, as a active AD, the scheduling, the communication with our state association. Wes mentioned the forms. If you have to submit something to the state, it's all there. And the Homecampus team was just fantastic to work with, and they're still fantastic to work with. Okay. Wes and Lindsay, thanks so much for being with us today on Tech Tuesday, and all the best moving forward.
Thank you, Jake.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
For our listeners, we do this every single week, and we upload the Zoom recordings to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. Come back next Tuesday for another great tech tip, and just about every day for new content on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Hey, before we go, we want to give our sponsors one more shout out. Of course, Homecampus, your one-stop shop for school athletics. Go to homecampus.com. You will be very, very pleased. We want to thank Athletic Surveys. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Start taking the pulse of your parents and your student athletes. We want to thank Huddle. I used Huddle as a coach. I used it as an AD. Go to huddle.com. Turn your school into a Huddle school. Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a great way to display your school records, your school record boards, your Hall of Fame, or just tell more compelling stories, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. If you're not using Gipper to enhance your social media presence, you're really missing out. Go to Gipper.com. They're going to show you how to create world-class content on your social media. Gipper.com. Sideline Interactive indoor score tables and video boards. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made as an AD. Go to sidelineinteractive.com to get started. We want to thank the good people at Snap Mobile. Go to snapraise.com to find out all the features that they offer, including Snap Raise, their fundraising platform, snapraise.com. We want to thank Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing. Go to hometownticketing.com. And District 1, that's WON. You're going to feel like you won when you see their custom uniforms, their on-time shipping, and their one-at-a-time replacement program. District1.com. Thanks again for listening to this episode of Tech Tuesday. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.